What if the very policies meant to protect American industries could actually drive up prices and put pressure on your wallet? Could Trump's tariffs be the hidden force that will fuel inflation and shake the foundation of the US economy? Tariffs, taxes on imported goods, are often seen as a way to protect domestic businesses and promote self-reliance. But what if these tariffs come with an unexpected cost? You're watching Elite Global Watch, where we simplify the complex and reveal the hidden. Today, we'll dive deep into how these economic tools, while seemingly beneficial on the surface, may be causing rising prices, supply chain disruptions, and economic struggles for everyday Americans. Why does this matter? Because it's not just about policy, it's about your paycheck, the price of groceries, and the health of the economy you rely on. By understanding the real impact of tariffs, you'll see how these decisions can ripple through your life in ways you may not expect. Let's start by breaking down what tariffs are and why they've become such a hot topic in the global economy. What are tariffs? Let's start with the basics. Tariffs are essentially taxes on imported goods. Think of it this way: when goods like electronics, steel, or clothing are brought into the US from another country, the government charges an extra fee on those imports. Why? The idea is to make imported products more expensive so that American-made alternatives become more competitive. It's like giving local industries a protective shield to help them thrive. These tariffs can raise the cost of everyday items, from the latest gadgets to the appliances in your home. But here's the kicker: these higher costs don't just disappear. They trickle down to businesses and, ultimately, to you, the consumer. When companies pay more for imported materials, they often pass those costs on to their customers. So, while tariffs aim to protect local jobs and industries, they also make the things we buy more expensive. Imagine paying $100 more for the same smartphone, or $1,000 more for your next car. Now that we understand what tariffs are and their intended purpose, let's dive into how these taxes could potentially impact the US economy and your wallet on a much larger scale. How tariffs impact prices. Here's where things get tricky. Tariffs don't just stop at making imports more expensive. They have a ripple effect that touches businesses, consumers, and even the economy as a whole. When companies pay more for imported goods or raw materials, those costs eventually land on you, the customer. This creates inflation, where prices for everyday items rise faster than our incomes. Studies back this up. A report from the Congressional Budget Office revealed that tariffs implemented between 2018 and 2020 increased consumer prices by an average of 0.5%. And that's not all. Researchers at the Federal Reserve estimated that the 25% tariff on Chinese imports during Trump's first term cost U.S. households approximately $850 annually. That's money straight out of your pocket, all because of tariffs. So, while tariffs might seem like a way to protect American industries, the reality is that they could leave both businesses and consumers paying the price literally. But the impact doesn't stop there. Let's look at how other countries retaliate, adding even more pressure to the system. Retaliation from other countries. Tariffs don't exist in a vacuum. When one country imposes them, others often fight back with retaliatory tariffs. And that's exactly what happened during Trump's first term. Countries like China, the European Union, and Canada hit back, targeting US exports to make their own statement. This back-and-forth trade war created ripple effects that hurt key American industries. Two of the hardest-hit sectors were agriculture and manufacturing. Farmers, who relied on selling crops like soybeans, corn, and pork to international markets, found themselves caught in the crossfire. For example, when China imposed a 25% tariff on US soybeans, American farmers faced a steep decline in demand. This led to plummeting prices and billions of dollars in lost revenue. Many farmers were forced to turn to government subsidies just to stay afloat. Let's take soybeans as a case study. Before the trade war, China was the largest buyer of US soybeans, importing around $12 billion worth annually. But after Trump's tariffs, China retaliated by slapping a 25% tariff on US soybeans. This caused exports to drop dramatically by over 70% at one point and pushed American farmers to scramble for alternative buyers, such as Brazil. The fallout was so severe that some farmers called it the worst economic crisis they'd seen in decades. So while tariffs are often justified as a way to protect American industries, they can trigger retaliation that leaves US businesses and workers vulnerable. But tariffs don't just affect trade between countries, they also disrupt supply chains and drive up costs for everyone. Let's explore how. Disruptions to the economy. Tariffs don't just increase prices, They disrupt the complex web of global supply chains that modern businesses rely on. When tariffs make importing goods more expensive, companies often have no choice but to look for alternative suppliers. The problem? Those alternatives are frequently more costly or less efficient, leading to even greater financial strain on businesses. This disruption doesn't stop at businesses. It ripples through the entire economy, affecting jobs, wages, and growth. For instance, industries that depend on imported materials, like manufacturing and construction, face higher production costs, which can force them to cut back on hiring or even lay off workers. Meanwhile, slowed production can weaken the economy as a whole. The numbers tell the story. Like I mentioned earlier, according to the Congressional Budget Office, tariffs implemented between 2018 and 2020 contributed to a 0.5% reduction in real GDP by 2020. That might sound small, but in a $23 trillion economy, it's a huge hit, equivalent to billions of dollars in lost economic output. At the same time, higher import costs drove inflation, squeezing household budgets and reducing consumer spending. From disrupted supply chains to reduced economic output, tariffs can have far-reaching consequences that go beyond their initial intent. But is there a better way to address trade issues without these damaging effects? Let's take a closer look. Is there a better solution? Tariffs might seem like a quick fix to protect domestic industries, but as we've seen, they often come with unintended consequences: higher prices, disrupted supply chains, and economic strain. So, is there a better way? Many experts argue that alternative trade strategies, like targeted subsidies or strategic trade agreements, could achieve the same goals without the collateral damage. Let's compare. When tariffs are applied, industries might gain temporary protection, but consumers end up paying the price through inflation. On the other hand, when policies like subsidies are used, industries can remain competitive while keeping costs low for businesses and consumers. Similarly, negotiating trade deals with favorable terms can open new markets for American goods without triggering retaliatory measures from other countries. For instance, instead of imposing tariffs, what if the US focused on investing in innovation and infrastructure to strengthen its industries from within? This approach could create long-term resilience without the economic fallout that comes with a trade war. While there's no one-size-fits-all solution, exploring smarter trade strategies could protect American industries while avoiding the negative impact on businesses, consumers, and the broader economy. So, what's the real cost of tariffs? Let's wrap it up. In conclusion, what have we learned? Tariffs, while designed to protect domestic industries, often come with significant downsides. They can lead to higher prices for consumers, provoke retaliatory measures from other countries, and disrupt the economy through supply chain issues and slowed growth. While the intention behind tariffs might be good, the ripple effects can be far-reaching and costly. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think tariffs are a necessary tool to protect American industries, or do the risks outweigh the rewards? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of global economic issues, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos. Together, let's stay informed and explore the bigger picture. Thanks for watching.